Hello and welcome. Recently a pilot friend of mine died. He left instructions for cremation and his ashes, along with the ashes of his recently deceased dog, to be dispersed from an aircraft above his favourite beach. I needed to do some research to see if this was possible. I am happy to share what I learned if you are considering aerial burial of ashes. The various state cremation acts allow dispersal outside of a cemetery, provided the ashes be disposed of in a dignified and respectful way. Interment in a local cemetery, including a plaque, costs about $700. First though, were we legally able to scatter his ashes from the air? Civil Aviation Regulations 1988, Regulation 150, dropping of articles, states, the pilot in command of an aircraft in flight shall not permit anything to be dropped from the aircraft except nothing in this regulation shall prevent A. the dropping of packages or other articles or substances, subclause 8, in the course of other operations in accordance with directions issued by CASA. Applying for permission from CASA is expensive. Rather than approval for just one operation, the approval for an operator to conduct many ashes dispersals is smart. The approvals list 4 schedules with conditions stressing safe operation and flight in visual meteorological conditions. However, there is more. In addition to Civil Aviation Regulations 150, there is also Civil Aviation Order 29.5 to consider. A pilot in command must comply with the requirements under this order. The Civil Aviation Regulations and orders can be accessed online. A qualified pilot flying a Cessna 172 for an hour costs about $300. The Cessna 172 is ideal as they have high wings, allowing you to see the ground of course, and windows that open fully. Reasonable precautions must be taken to avoid injury or damage to persons or property. You can imagine that losing the urn overboard would be dangerous. It is wise to let the funeral home know that the ashes will be dropped so that the material is as fine as possible and all metallic objects removed. The human body, when cremated, is just bone fragments. All organic matter is made gaseous in the 900°C heat. Typically, a body yields 3.5 litres of powder, more if the person was large. There is no public health risk with handling ashes. They are inert. Protecting the environment means that the ashes shouldn't be disposed of in rainwater catchment areas. Is permission of the landowner required? We found that permission would be required if the dispersal would be over private land. Local councils generally do not require you to arrange a permit. All beaches in Australia are Crown land and there are no concerns, especially if due to wind drift the ashes were to fall in the ocean. A search of the internet reveals many stories of ashes scattering by aircraft that have gone wrong. Backdraft of the ashes into the aircraft are the least of your worries. Urns have been lost overboard and aircraft tailplanes damaged when the remains had not been fine enough. There has even been instances of distracted pilots when at a low altitude coming to grief. Opening a door is not good. Opening a window works better. Holding the device out from the aircraft and aft to the window is best. The next thing was to work out how to disperse the ashes. I decided that a trip to my local Bunnings was in order. I chose a 100mm diameter pipe as a length to hold 4 litres is a manageable length. Next, a 100mm access cap and a male thread adapter. The final piece, a 100mm PVC male flap valve for the other end. To complete the job, 2 metal door handles so that you can hold the pipe firmly. Construction was easy. The threaded adapter was lightly glued to one end of the pipe. The access cap was screwed on. 4 litres of water were then poured into the upright pipe and the level marked. Empty the water and cut the pipe. Lightly glued the male flap valve using cement solvent. Next, the 2 handles were pop riveted, one to each side, just under the threaded adapter. This would provide firm handholds when the pipe was in the slipstream. A plastic saddle was then pop riveted to the top of the flap and the other near the top of the pipe. An elastic tie could then be run around both of the saddles to seal the flap closed until needed. All was now in readiness. My friend's family were at the beach. We took off and headed for the rendezvous. We descended to 500 feet, opened the window, put the tube out and released the flap. The end of the pipe was away from the aircraft and aft to the windows. Ashes flowed smoothly to disperse finally. Job accomplished. My friend's ashes now rejoin the environment at a spot of fond memories for him. Thank you for watching, and I hope this has been of help to you if you are considering something like this in the future. Thank you.